Hello, this is Watch All About, and in this watch review we're just having a brief look at a new watch currently on Kickstarter. It's called the Deaumar Ensign. As you can see, it's quite a chunky diver slash tool type watch. It'll cost you, currently on Kickstarter, non-European residents £135, and those of us who are in the EU £160. But the RRP is quite a reasonable £210. So I'll have a look at it in closer detail to see if it's a pretty good deal. So let me just take it off and have a look at it. So the specs, it's a 42mm in diameter, has a 46mm lug-to-lug length, and a height of 13.5mm. So it is fairly chunky, especially from the height point of view. But if you're like me and you quite like a decent chunky timepiece, then it looks and feels pretty impressive. The 42mm diameter I think is just right for me. I'm 7.25 inches, my wrist is, so it seems to be quite comfortable for me. The whole thing weighs 170 grams, so it is pretty chunky. It feels pretty heavy on the wrist, and that gives you quite a sense of decent quality actually. The lug to lug, the lug width, is 22mm, and I believe it's 22mm across the entire band as well. So quite a thick, chunky bracelet. It's got these nice H-style links that I do like, a little bit different to normal, and again, very chunky, very well made as well. And then we have a very nicely engraved Deaumar logo on the bracelet. So other stats include a 200-meter water resistance, so that's always pretty good, especially considering the price. And the movement is an automatic movement, and it's the Seiko NH35A, which we've seen quite a few times. So if I just undo it, we can have a bit of a fiddle with that. And you'll also notice that it has quite a decent layer of anti-reflective coating. You can see the blue flash every so often, which is really nice to see as well actually. And the crystal is domed, and it's made of sapphire crystal. So all in all, it does give a real good sense of quality for the price. On Kickstarter alone is very good, but then even the RRP for around £200 is very good. I'm always happy to support British brands completely, and so I'm really happy to see that this is a brand that's based in the UK, so that's really good news as well. So if we go through it element by element as usual, we can have a look at it in closer detail. So I mentioned we have a sapphire crystal, very thick. You tap it and it gives a decent thud. It has a nice layer of anti-reflective coating on the underside, so so far so good. We have 120 click bezel, which goes one way. The sound is quite nice. Let's see how it lines up, and it lines up very well indeed. So that's pretty good to see. The grip on the bezel is nice and toothed as well, and gives you a decent amount of grip, and it moves quite freely, so it's got a good action on the bezel. So moving on to the case, so we have brushed top and polished sides, and on the one side we have the crown at 4, which I like to see actually. It's quite Seiko, and I think it makes it look a little bit different, and is a bit more interesting. So I do like them. I do like them in different positions, and it has the Deaumar logo nice and deeply engraved on that. Moving on to the case back. So the case back is just fully polished. It's a prototype obviously, so we do have some marks, so please ignore them. And that's a screw and case back obviously to keep the water resistance at 200 meters. So we just have some simple engraving around the logo in the center. So that's pretty straightforward and simple. Moving on to the dial then. This is the black version. It comes in a few different colors, so please have a look at the website to see which one suits you most. Quite simple really. We have applied hour markers with loom in them, and then the hands quite a simple sword slash arrow kind of shape. I do like the splash of red from the second hand, matching the ensign print there. Printing is all very nice and clear as well, and you know, doesn't seem to be badly printed or anything like that. And then we have the day and date window on the right hand side at 3. Again, very Seiko actually in a way, but it's nice to see that they've added a little border around it. It's a nice little touch there. I'd also like a deep rehaut around the outside, so that's good to see that they've put the minute track on that. So there we go. So quite a simple design, but I think it's very effective, works well in the entire aura of the watch. Moving on to the bracelet, we have the H-links, as I mentioned beforehand, all fully brushed, very thick, very nicely machined, polished sides to match the side of the case as well, and then brushed on the underside. So it's very comfortable to wear. If I put it on again, this fits my wrist just right. It's very comfortable as well. I do like the H-links for their comfort. And then moving on to the double locking clasp, we have the Deaumar logo nice and deeply engraved on there as well. So all in all, a very decent, chunky, well-made timepiece. So let's have a look at it in a little bit closer detail if I put the macro lens on. So if I just move the hand out of the way. There we go. So that's the Deaumar logo printed on the top. And then we move down here. And we can see these applied hour markers. Then the hands again, very nicely made and polished stainless steel as well, so they give a real nice reflection. And here's the border to the date window. So just having a quick look at this minute track around the outside, if I can get that in focus without the anti-reflective coating giving us a splash of blue. There we go. Looking at the bezel then, the insert is nicely printed. Please keep in mind, obviously, this is a prototype, so you will see a few little scratches here and there. And then here's the edging and the grip to the bezel, the side of the case, and the brush top there. Moving it to the underside, we can see the engraving on the case back as well. There we go. So just finally then, we'll have a quick look at this bracelet. There's the H-links there, nicely brushed and well put together, well made. And then the underside is more or less exactly the same. It's telling you the direction of the links, those little arrows, the pins, sorry. And then finally the deep engraving of the logo on the buckle as well. So there we go. So, as a watch in itself, it's very well put together, very well made. The specs, is very impressive as well. I wonder how much it would have cost if they got a high beat movement in it. How much extra that would have been. But for me, the Seiko NH35A is still perfectly fine. It's a great little movement, and it does a fantastic job. We've seen it in quite a number of micro brands already, so I wasn't surprised to see that it had that movement in it. So really good watch. Anthony's a really good guy as well, so I would highly recommend it if it's something that really takes your fancy, because it is a really well put together timepiece, and it looks great at the same time. So there we go. This was the Deaumar Ensign, and that's Watch All About.